Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Recently, the developers of Pax Dei published an article answering community questions. It sheds some light on their plans. There's also new info about voice chat and text bubbles. I wanted to quickly go over everything and share my thoughts. There are some interesting announcements, but not everything makes me optimistic. Let's get started. First, something big. The devs claim Pax Dei will release in full this year. That's an ambitious goal. Looking at the game's current state, unfinished economy, combat that needs work, and tons of rough edges, it gives me mixed feelings. They admit some features have been delayed, but they still sound confident. But what does that even mean? Announcing a release without clear details on monetization is a huge risk. We don't know if the game will have a subscription or if land plots will become more expensive. That's crucial for players. In my opinion, they should just admit development is going slower than expected. They could extend early access and provide a roadmap for core system changes that would show they're actually improving the game. On top of that, the marketing and communication team needs a complete overhaul. Right now, a lot of their answers feel like empty corporate talk rather than real progress. Next, let's talk about new regions, or rather, the lack of them. The devs say there won't be any new regions in the near future. We only have one, but they previously mentioned Thule, Gothia, Carpathia, Anatolia, Helios, Iberia, and even Atlantis. I never expected all of them at launch, but I did think we'd at least get one more with some PvP provinces. If the game is launching this year and they aren't adding new areas, that's disappointing. The game is supposed to be about exploration and sandbox freedom, yet not expanding the world feels like a step backward. They say they have ideas for new areas, but without specifics, that's just empty talk. As for the game's lore, the devs are working on a system to add more knowledge and mystery to Pax Dei. I'm happy about this, since it's an important aspect, but I'd rather see this implemented in-game rather than spoon-fed outside of it. I want to explore ruins and discover ancient artifacts, find libraries with old manuscripts I can take and read, or overhear cultists' prayers to learn who they serve. Dumping lore outside the game feels like a lazy shortcut. Without details, I don't know what to expect, but I hope they take this approach. In the next update, they're adding more ways for characters to express emotions, with animations like sitting on chairs or lying on beds. There will even be special movements for seated characters. It's a nice touch for role players, but in a game where the core mechanics are still rough, it feels like focusing on details instead of foundations. Fishing, farming, and fast travel via wonders are also planned, which sounds interesting. But I have mixed feelings about fast travel. On one hand, it shrinks the world. Traveling between regions takes minutes instead of hours. On the other hand, I imagine a world where players actually travel, trade, and choose between a long, safe road or a short but risky one with the chance of ambushes. Without timelines or details, all I feel is uncertainty. Mounts are another big topic. They showed horse prototypes, the models and animations seem ready, but even the devs admit they're far from perfect. Full implementation, including natural movement and seamless zone transitions, is still a challenge. I respect that they don't want to release something broken, but if they're aiming for a 2025 release, how much time do they really have? That said, I don't think mounts are that essential. The game launched without them, and most players have adapted to long journeys. This can wait. Instead of working on problematic horses, I'd rather see bigger inventory space or finally getting the much-requested item bags. Seriously, we need bags for gems and herbs. It makes no sense that a handful of tiny stones takes up the same space as a massive ore haul. And honestly, I think this would make more players happy than mounts. They also announced more building updates. New foundation pieces, including round ones, will come in a smaller update, while a stone building set will be in a bigger one. That's a step forward. But when it comes to trees clipping through foundations or gaps between land plots, issues that bother a lot of people, the response was just, "We're working on it." Again, no timeline. Recycling and moving placed items are also planned. They hope to add recycling in one of the next big updates, which suggests the feature is almost ready. But if it's really that far along, why haven't they shared more details? Knowing more would help players decide whether to keep crafting practice items or just throw them away. I'm also excited about clothing dyes. They already have color and embroidery pattern prototypes. It's a small thing, but it adds variety and makes clan identities more visible. One positive thing was the devs finally acknowledged how useful it would be for players to have the ability to move all items from their plot into the redemption queue. It would make relocating land plots or switching servers much easier. It's odd that this isn't already a feature since server adjustments have shown they already have the tech for it. Another thing is land plot and container permissions. Clans really need this. The devs say changes are planned, but again, no timeline. Are they serious about it, or just trying to silence the complaints? I'm also glad they're working on bigger stack sizes. They originally planned this for January, it's now March, and we still have no details or release date. That's an odd delay since it shouldn't require major work. I'd rather have a solid date than vague promises. Bigger stack sizes would also help with the limited inventory and storage space. Maybe we wouldn't have to constantly drop loot during trips or build hundreds of storage chests just to keep everything. And the ability to use stored materials for crafting, players have been asking for that forever. The devs say it's not planned, but they'll listen to feedback. So, are they admitting they weren't listening before? When will they start? The feedback is already there. Just pick an approach. For example, let crafting stations pull materials from nearby containers or allow all materials in a plot storage to be automatically included in crafting. On the technical side, things are moving. The next update will upgrade the game's engine to version 5.4 for better visuals and performance, though the changes will be minor. After that, they'll look into upgrading to 5.5. I like this, but I'd like to know how it will affect performance and system requirements. There's no clarity from the devs on that. DLSS 4 support isn't a priority. They're focusing on stability. FSR 3 will return once they fix the crashes. They also mentioned world wipes. A full wipe will happen at launch, which was always the plan, so no surprise there. They warned that additional wipes could happen earlier if necessary, but that's just a formality. They've always said they'll avoid wiping unless absolutely needed, so I doubt they'll do it before launch. Finally, events, monetization, and new features. The devs don't plan to host in-game events themselves, leaving that to players. Clans already organize races and treasure hunts. I think this is the best approach. Pax Dei is a sandbox. Players should shape the world, while devs should focus on providing the tools. If they start running events, it would push the game towards a theme park, which I think would ruin its potential. Pax Dei could be an amazing sandbox, but as a theme park, it would be mediocre at best. As for monetization, they say details will come later. They keep repeating that Founders Pack owners won't have to pay after early access, which is fair, but the lack of clarity on future costs is still concerning, especially with a release coming soon. One new feature is voice chat through Discord in the next update, optional, with mute and push-to-talk settings. It's a nice addition, but feels more like a distraction. Clans already have voice chat. It might be useful for random encounters, but I'd rather see Discord integration tied to characters, not accounts. A single account can have 6 characters, and not everyone wants their identities linked. Chat bubbles are also returning. Nearby, party, and clan chat will be visible above characters' heads again. I agree with the devs. This will make conversations more lively. Spanish and Polish are coming to the game and website soon. Nice gesture, but with how little text Pax Dei has, it's not a game changer. So, how do I feel about the 2025 release? Mixed. I want to believe they'll pull it off. But with no new regions, a long list of features without timelines, and the game's current state, I have doubts. Maybe they're hiding more than they're showing. Maybe they're rushing, which could hurt quality. Why the rush? Financial pressure? A push to leave early access? Something else? Throwing out a release date without a clear plan seems like a mistake. The game needs more time and transparency. What do you think? Is a 2025 release realistic or too risky? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. That's all from me today. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date with my future content. And if you have a different opinion, found something intriguing, or think I missed something, let me know in the comments. Even critical feedback is welcome, as it helps me create even better videos. Do you have a topic you'd like me to cover in a future video? Share your ideas in the comments. I'd love to hear your suggestions. Looking forward to your thoughts and feedback. See you in the next video.